Join me on a randomized adventure filled with unexpected turns. And if any Pokemon faint, they're off the team. So, let's get to it. I start off picking Fuecoco and naming it Totodile. But don't worry, he won't be on the team long, as I'm looking to replace it very soon. I lost the very first battle to Nimona. What a great start! While out exploring Poco Path, I came across the first Pokemon I'm gonna add to the team. That being Dragapult. And I renamed it to Dart. The box legendary was hanging out on the beach, so I decided to make it my pet with a single sandwich. Legendary conquered. After exiting the cave, I saw a wild Zamazenta, so I caught it.
Nice shot!
Fast forward a little bit, and while out exploring, I came across a wild Arceus, just hanging out by a river. So, after a handful of balls, I added it to the team. I ran across a wild Iron Valiant. You guessed it, I called it. And I named it Meta. I make quick work of Nimona before we enter Mesagoza. And then once inside, I make quick work of the Team Star Grunts as well. I BLJ up the endless stairs. I quickly make my way out of the school, and the randomizer truly opens up. I decide to take off towards Katie's direction first. And while making my way there, I came across a wild Kleavor. This would be a great Pokemon to add to the team. So I did. I also found a wild Gengar. So I called it. And I named it Spike. Wild Chim-Pao makes an appearance. Well, it gets added to the team too. This team is looking like it's gonna be stacked. With that in mind, I head for the first gym test. And the olive roll is done in no time.
Nice shot!
And it's off to take on gym leader Katie. With this being the first gym battle of the series, I figured I was more than prepared for whatever she would throw at me. Well, I suppose I should have done more than just run around catching a ton of cool Pokemon. Hint, hint. Katie leads off with a Venomoth. I throw out Dart, and it does almost nothing. This is gonna be fun. I go back and forth for a bit, but eventually, I think I got it on the ropes. And just then, it outspeeds and takes out Dart. There goes my first Pokemon I caught. I throw out Zamazenta next. And just like that, we take Venomoth down with a single quick attack. In a cruel twist of fate, Katie throws out her own Dragapult. So, I switch out to Meta. Yeah, she is totally mocking me at this point. I use Shadow Sneak a total of 5 times before her Dragapult finally goes down.
And it's gone!
I switch out to Arceus for her ace Pokemon, Larvitar. Turn 1, I quickly get off a Body Slam. But then I get flinched 2 turns in a row. So, I swap out to Chim-Pao before I lose Arceus. Yeah, bad call. Chim-Pao gets one-shotted. I throw out Meta, who gets in 3 Shadow Sneaks before it faints also. Things are not looking good. I throw out Cleaver, and in just 2 Fury Cutters, I finally take down that Larvitar. Wow, that was way harder than I was expecting.
Look at this photograph.
Goodbye, Dart, Meta, and Chinpow. I set out to level up and explore some all-new areas before I go take on my first Titan Pokemon of the playthrough. I found a wild Palafin while out exploring, and I caught it. And since it kept turning super huge while I was battling it, I named him Supersized. I watched a Galarian Meowth jump off a windmill. I guess cats can fall from any height and be just fine. Okay. I make my way to the top of the hill to take on Bombirder. It was a super fast battle, with Zamzinta taking it out in no time at all. Arven shows up, and to no one's surprise, it was still just as easy.
Look at this photograph.
I feed my sandwich to Koraidon to give it superpowers. And I'm off for the next Titan. I catch a wild Charmeleon, and I name it Zippo. I'm pretty sure I got that name from the Pokemon anime somewhere. I don't know. I explore the area a good bit, but with nothing else standing out, I mark my sights for Cloth and make my way there. The battle with Cloth was very easy, because Cloth got one-shotted.
And it's gone.
Even after he charged up into its super form, it was still a very easy battle, only taking a few turns.
Look at this photograph.
With that out of the way, Koraidon again learns a new superpower. Once out of the Herba Mystica cave, I head toward the Sunflora town, where I discover a wild Regidrago. So, I engage it and add it to my team. After a handful of turns and just as many Pokeballs, it was successfully caught. And since it looks like it's already wearing a Charizard skull, I named it Charskull. With my Pokemon all set up from last episode, I take off to start the Sunflora Gym Challenge. And in no time at all, it was done. And I had a small army to go start my own Sunflora town with. But I gave up that idea, and instead decide to take down Brassius. Every Pokemon on his team went down so fast, so we won't waste too much time on how easy it was. He had a Fletchling, a Yungoos, and Zweilous as his ace Pokemon.
Look at this photograph.
With that gym quickly behind me, I head off for the Fire-type Team Star base. I head in there a little underleveled, but I figured I can make it work. We will skip the auto battle stuff and cut straight to the Fire Lady. She leads with a Tatsugiri. I flip turn out and let Cleavor get some time to shine. Even after terrestrializing Cleavor into its bug type, it still gets wrecked. I throw out Supersize to finish it off. One Aqua Jet later.
And it's gone.
Out comes the Starmobile. I use Aqua Jet 5 times. But I always forget how busted these boss battles are. And I lose Supersized due to burn. I throw out Char Skull, and after 3 ancient powers, the car finally breaks down. I wildly mash A through the boring parts, and voila!
Look at this photograph.
After that battle, we are down 2 members. So, it's time to go find at least one new Pokemon. And just like that, I come across a wild Rayquaza. Nice. Yeah, you guessed it. After quite some time, I called it. With one of the strongest Pokemon ever now on my team, I decide to take on Iono, since I'm already over this way. And of course, Nimona wants to have a battle first. I oblige. And proceed to sweep her entire team thoroughly. After defeating Nimona, I realized it took so long to catch Rayquaza that I forgot to get a 6th Pokemon. So, I set off to round out my team. And in no time, I came across a Pokemon I've never used before. That being a Galarian Zapdos. And in a stroke of luck, I toss a quick ball and catch it first try. Feels good. With that, I head back to Lavencia to take on the next gym for real this time. The gym challenge is the same as always. But one noticeable difference was the first guy I battled throws out a shiny Cacnea. R.I.P. Either way, I finished the challenge up and I proceed to make my way for Iono and her weird, pointy teeth. Iono leads off with a Petalil. Zippo takes it out with only 2 embers.
And it's gone.
But out next is a Glamora. And I forgot what would be the best matchup here. Great. But hey, if that wasn't good enough, I'll follow up with a Pluck and achieve almost nothing. So, I decide to swap out Rayquaza. He could take this thing easily, right? I set up a Dragon Dance and plan to go for Dragon Ascent next turn. But Glamora still outspeeds and wipes Rayquaza off my team. I was devastated for a bit after that, thinking I was in for an entire team wipe or something. Charskull comes out, and it too gets erased off of my team. Ah, man. out comes Zippo. Zippo falls shortly after coming out also. It looks like a full team wipe could be imminent. But, like a champ, Zamazenta comes in and bodies that thing. I was never worried at all.
And it's gone.
Ayano throws out a spoink, and Zamazenta uses it as a chew toy, leaving only her ace Pokemon, Cryogonal. It terrestrializes, but it doesn't even matter. Zamazenta one-shots it with a Metal Claw. That's Ayano's gym down.
Look at this photograph.
It's time to go find some new Pokemon to add to the team. So, I spot a wild Dragonite. And I'm able to catch it with a single quick ball. I nickname it to Night Drago. Yeah, not my best name so far. I run around for a good bit before I find the next Pokemon I add to the team. The white version of Basculegion. If you got a good name for it, leave it for me in the comments below. And just as I was about to go explore a new area, I found my next Pokemon. A wild Mewtwo. So, you guessed it. I absolutely caught it and added it to the team. Last episode, I asked if you guys had an idea for what I should call the wild Basculegion I caught. And this was the suggestion I got. Basculegion will now be known as Palefish. Nice. As soon as I take off towards the Dark-type Team Star base, I run into a wild Dialga. Of course, I catch it. This is an awesome start. Zapdos quickly clears the guard in front of the base, and in I go. We will skip the auto battle sequence and get straight to the main event. The dark type boss leads with only a Clauncher. And in just 2 plucks, Zapdos takes care of it super fast. And out comes the Starmobile. Zapdos goes for Rock Smash 4 times and is taken care of. Dark type Team Star boss down. I wildly mash A through the cutscene, and voila!
Look at this photograph.
Afterwards, Penny shows up, but our doggo comes out and scares her off super quick. Next up, I set my eyes on a Titan Pokemon. I see so many cool Pokemon on my way there, like groups of wild Ceruledge just hanging out. I quickly find the Titan Pokemon Orthworm, and it hits pretty hard. In fact, it takes our Zapdos out in just 2 hits. I reckon I should have done a little bit of training before taking on this Titan, because I sent out Night Drago and it also goes down really quick. I'm really not wanting a full team wipe to take place. So, out goes Arceus. It hangs on and even takes out the Ortho Worm. But I really need to go train up before I finish the second half of this fight. I take both Night Drago and Zapdos off the team
And it's gone.
and put in my newly acquired Dialga and Spike, the Gengar from episode 1. While out training up a bit, I caught a wild Cerulege. If you have a name for it, leave it for me in the comments below. With what I figured to be enough training under my belt, I go to take on the second half of the Titan battle. This time with Arven by my side. Arven's text says he has a Toad Scroll, but in game it says he has a Zarude. That's not mixed signals. Either way, Spike and Zarude take the Titan down in no time at all.
Look at this photograph.
And before you know it, I'm feeding my doggo a sandwich, and he's learning a new superpower. Now that we can jump higher than ever, I take off for the next gym. Kofu takes off in a hurry, probably fearing that he has to face me. But that's okay. I decide to hunt him down and make this battle happen. His apprentice stops me first and sends out a shiny Vespiquen. But Spike puts it to sleep and proceeds to bombard it with Hex. And that takes it out pretty fast.
Nice shot!
His apprentice follows up with the Flittle. Yeah, it got wrecked super fast. I engage in some gambling for the old man to complete the gym test. Now, I finally get to go back to the gym and take down Kofu, for real this time. But first, I pick up the rusted shield for Zamazenta, and lots of Arceus plates. I was mainly trying to get a adamant crystal for Dialga, and after receiving a ton of plates I don't need, I finally got it. And now, we have Origin Form Dialga. With that, it's truly time to go beat down Kofu. Kofu leads off with a Bonsly. Dialga takes it down in just 2 turns.
And it's gone.
Next out is a Reveroom. We get a Dragon Breath off and paralyze it. But it seems like this battle is going nowhere fast. So I switch out to Arceus and hit it with a Seismic Toss. But just when I thought I had it on the ropes, it takes out Arceus. That sucks so much. I throw out Mewtwo to clean up what's left of the Reveroom, before switching out to Spike to take on his ace Pokemon, which is a shiny Leafeon? I guess everyone has some insane shiny luck this episode. Leafeon terrestrializes, and I go for the Hypnosis to put it to sleep.
Nice shot!
Then, I hit it with the Hex. Next turn, Leafeon goes down. and we secure the win.
Look at this photograph.
I lost Arceus during the battle. It's a bummer, because I just bought all of those plates. Either way, I go to look for a new team member. While out exploring, I find a bunch of wild Urshifu. And you guessed it, I added one to the team. And nicknamed it to Punchy Monkey. Okay. Last episode, I asked if you guys had a name for the Cerule Edge that I call. And this was the recommendation. Cereal Edge. Okay. With that taken care of, I set off for my next gym to take down Larry. I start the gym challenge up and place the food order. And voila! It's time for a battle. Larry leads off with a wish cache, and I send out Dialga. And wish cache goes down with just 2 dragon breaths. Next out is a Avalugg, and it also only needs 2 dragon breaths to defeat.
And it's gone.
Leaving only his ace Pokemon, a Hisuian Samurai. And all the families of everyone that got crushed shows up to revolt, of course. So, I quickly switched to Gengar and put Samurai to sleep. Then, I switch out to Punchy Monkey. And in just 1 brick break, it goes down.
Nice shot.
Being 5 levels behind didn't seem to make this too hard. Either way, that's still another gym down.
Look at this photograph.
But Nimona shows up, and she wants to have a battle of her own. I oblige. And she leads off with the Braviary. So, out comes Dialga, and we hit it with Ancient Power 3 times. Next out is an Alolan Grimer. So, I send out Spike and put it to sleep. Then, I hit it with the Hex. But, it wakes up, and we get hit with a Crunch and go down. R.I.P. Spike. I send out Punchy Monkey, and Grimer goes down to a single brick break. Out next is a Fletchling, and it goes down to a single Ancient Power,
And it's gone.
leaving only her ace Pokemon, a Noivern. I send out Zamazenta and use a Metal Claw, but it does almost nothing. That's not good. Next turn, we get Whirlwinded. And out comes Pale Fish. We get off 1 Phantom Force and get Whirlwinded again. Out comes Punchy Monkey. It gets hit with an Aerial Ace and goes down too. So, I take a chance and send out Origin Form Dialga. And we outspeed. And we take it down with a single Dragon Breath. That was close. I beat Nimona, but we lost 2 teammates. So, it's time to go exploring for a new one. Also, Serial Edge secures a spot on the team. And after some time, I find a wild Cresselia. To top it off, I catch it with a single quick ball.
Nice shot.
I've never used this Pokemon before, so this should be fun. With all that settled, I take off to the next Team Star base. I take on the guard outside of the base and make quick work of his team. Then, I head in to take the base down. We will skip past the auto battle and get straight to the main fight against Atticus. He leads off with a Weavile, and Dialga takes it down in just 2 Dragon Breaths.
And it's gone.
Out next is a Citadel. I use Ancient Power, and in no time, it's gone.
Nice shot.
Out comes a Phalanx. So, I send in Pale Fish and go for a Phantom Force. And a few quick turns later, we take it out. Leaving only the Starmobile. It immediately poisons me, but I think we got this. So I leave Pale Fish in there, and we take it down. I mash A through all the cutscenes, and voila!
Look at this photograph.
Afterwards, Penny shows up, but we got our doggo, and he scares her off real quick. I go to head towards the next Titan, and I find something incredible. Origin Form Palkia is going on my team. Wow, that was amazing. With that out of the way, I continue on towards the next Titan Pokemon. And I find it. So, I take on Great Tusk. I go for the Aqua Jet, but I must be way under level, because Pale Fish got wrecked immediately. Out comes Serial Edge, and it goes down in 1 hit. Things are not looking good. It's looking like a full team wipe could actually happen. But I throw out Zamazenta, and somehow, some way, it just barely hangs on and takes it out a little at a time. Wow, that was a lot harder than I was expecting. And that's 2 Pokemon down. Time to go find a replacement, and I need to train up a bit before the big rematch. While out exploring, I find a wild Screamtail, and I add it to the team. If you have a name for it, leave it for me in the comments below. With that, I get in some quick training. Then I set off for the second half of the battle against Great Tusk. Arven shows up, And it shows him as having a Scovillian as his Pokemon, but in game, it says Espeon. Either way, with this Espeon, he wrecks the Great Tusk. All of that training for nothing.
Look at this photograph.
I feed my doggo a sandwich, and it learns a new superpower, that being flight. Things are looking great for our team, but it only gets harder from here. Last episode, I asked if you guys had a name for the Screamtail I caught, and this was the recommendation. Screamtail will now be known as Pikachu. Great! And Palkia was suggested to be named Space Horse. Nice! With that taken care of, I set off for my last Titan battle against the False Dragon Pokemon. After a couple unnecessary battles, I finally remembered the correct Tatsugiri, and Dondozo arrives. I send out our weird-looking Pikachu and put it to sleep. But it wakes up immediately and hits pretty hard. So I swap out to Dialga. And Dialga takes it down using Dragon Breath a handful of times. I'm confident I got this. So I head straight to the second stage of the fight. Dondozo breaks down a wall, and Arven shows up. It shows him having a Greedent, but in game it says Dedenne. Yeah, the randomizer isn't making things confusing at all. Either way, Pikachu goes for a Sing, and it misses. So I go for a play rough and do almost nothing. Yeah, I realize I'm not doing much here.
Outstanding.
Arven pretty much carries this entire first half of the battle. But don't worry, I'm sure we will make up for it in the second half. Tatsugiri shows up, and Pikachu gets a couple play roughs in, but it's close to going down. So I swap out to Dialga to finish the thing off. And Dialga takes it down in just 2 Dragon Breaths. That's the last Titan Pokemon down.
Look at this photograph.
Arven busts out some sandwiches, so you know what that means. We feed it to our doggo, and he learns a new superpower. He can now climb walls. Now that we can go anywhere with ease, I set my sights on the snow-capped mountains and take off for the next gym. We quickly slide down the snow-covered mountain for the gym test. And voila, it's time for a battle. Grusha leads off with a crocodile. Pikachu takes it down with only 2 play roughs.
And it's gone.
The next Pokemon out is a Grookey. Yeah, it got wrecked fast.
Nice shot.
Third out is an Umbreon. So, I switch to Space Horse. I go for an Ancient Power, but it does almost nothing. So, I give it a Dragon Breath. Yeah, almost nothing again. And to top it off, it uses Moonlight and recovers health. Umbreon is gonna be a pain to take down fast. I spam Water Pulse so many times until eventually it goes down. Grusha's ace Pokemon is a Heracross. So, I send out Mewtwo in hopes to take it down fast. It terrestrializes into a fighting type, so I go for a Confusion. But it smacks Mewtwo pretty hard, so I switch out to Dialga for a Dragon Breath. And Dialga goes down to a Brick Break. Ugh. That one really hurt. I send out Space Horse, and it finishes off the Heracross. But that was not how I wanted things to go. Either way, that's another gym leader down.
Look at this photograph.
Time to go exploring for a new teammate to add to the team. I climb to the highest point of Paldea and find a wild Ursaluna. You guessed it, I caught it. I was out exploring when I got too close to the Fairy-type Team Star base. And I set off the battle against a guy guarding the place. He threw out a shiny Floette. So, I switched out to Zamazenta and hit it with a Metal Claw.
And it's gone.
His other Pokemon was a Frogadier. I figured Zamazenta could take it, so I left him in. But things started looking sketchy, so I switched out to Space Horse. One Dragon Breath later, and it's gone. I'm not ready to take this base down, so I'm just gonna go back to exploring the area. And just like that, I found a Diancie. That would make a great addition for the team, so I called it. If you have a clever name for it, leave it in the comments below. With a couple new additions to the team, I bench Pikachu for the time being and set off for the fighting type Team Star base. The grunt outside the base has a ride for Miraidon at level 54. I suppose I should have taken on the other base first. I lead with Mewtwo, but we take a hard hit, so I switch out to Ursaluna and take down my Miraidon with a single headlong rush.
And it's gone.
I switch out to Zamazenta to take on the ace Pokemon, which is Wigglytuff. A few Metal Claws later, and it's taken care of. I suppose I should worry about this Team Star base another day. So, I quickly switch gears and head for the Fairy base. We will skip past the auto battle and get straight to the main event. Ortega leads off with a Carkol, and Ursaluna one-shots it with a headlong rush.
Nice shot.
Out next is a shiny Frostmoth, and it takes Ursaluna down with a single Blizzard. In return, I throw out Mewtwo and one-shot it with a single Ancient Power. His ace Pokemon is a Arrokuda, it too goes down to a single confusion, leaving only the Starmobile. I hit it with a couple ancient powers, but quickly switch out to Zamazenta. And I go for Metal Claw 3 times. But on the 4th time, if we don't hit it, we go down. So I take a chance. And the Starmobile gets wrecked. Thank you. I wildly mash A through the cutscenes, and voila!
Look at this photograph.
And just then, Penny shows up. But our doggo comes out and scares her off super quick. My entire team is almost pink or purple, except for Zamazenta. Last episode, I asked for a clever name for the Deontay I called. And here's what was suggested. Stoner.
Say what?
Checks out. With all that taken care of, I set off for my next gym battle. But, of course, Nimona has to show up and have a battle with me first. She leads off with a Tauros. I send out Stoner and take it down in just 2 turns.
Nice shot.
Out next is a Toxicroak. Out comes Mewtwo. 1 confusion later,
And it's gone.
Girafarig comes out, and Zamazenta takes it down in just 1 shot, leaving only her ace Pokemon, a Gallade. And with Zamazenta, we take it down in 2 quick turns. That's Nimona taken care of. Now, let's get to that gym battle. I enjoy such riveting gameplay during this gym test, but we will skip right over that exciting stuff and get to the main event. Tulip leads off with a Hatina. 1 bite later,
And it's gone.
out next is Electros. So, I send out Stoner and hit it with some rocks a couple times.
Outstanding.
Reverum shows up and also only takes 2 shots to defeat, leaving only her ace Pokemon, Espeon. And with only 2 bites, it's gone. This gym was a total breeze to take down.
Look at this photograph.
With that, I make haste for the last gym in the playthrough, which is against Rhyme. I breeze past the gym test with ease, all while defeating her opening acts. And it's on to the main show against MC Sledge. Rhyme. She leads off with the team of Seviper and Indeedee. 2 Metal Claws to Indeedee,
And it's gone.
and 2 Ancient Powers to Seviper was all it took. Out next is a Weavile, and Florges as her ace Pokemon. She terrestrializes Florges, but it gets one-shot by a Metal Claw.
Nice shot.
And Weavile gets one-shot too by an Ancient Power. I think I should have taken these gyms on a little earlier in the series, but that's okay.
Look at this photograph.
All that I have left now is the last Team Star base. So, I make my way there. I quickly burn through the auto battle sequence, and it's on to the main event against the lady with the clown makeup. She leads off with a Gastrodon. And Space Horse hits it with the Dragon Breath twice.
And it's gone.
Out next is a Corviknight, and I smack it with Ancient Power a handful of times. Armarouge comes out, and it meets a lovely Water Pulse from Space Horse, leaving a Pawniard as her ace Pokemon. Out comes Zamazenta, and we use Pawniard as a chew toy and wreck it with only a few bites, leaving only the Starmobile. Zamazenta hits it a few times, but we aren't doing much to it. So I switch out to Mewtwo. 3 confusions later, that's every Team Star base down.
Look at this photograph.
We are on the home stretch. All that's left to do is to go take on the final battles for the different storylines and to face the Elite Four. And since I have a few tough battles coming up, I need to have a few Pokemon in the reserves, in case anyone faints while I'm in a untimely location. It doesn't take too long, and I come across a wild Hoopa. So, I catch it. While out exploring, I also decide to pick up a Toedscruel for the backup team. I find a wild Charizard, and it's always nice to have a fire type. But then I remember, oh wait, I can't use Charizard because I had a Charmeleon that fainted already. So I moved it to the graveyard box. I find a wild Iron Moth and catch it instead.
Outstanding.
Time to go take on my first story boss of the game. That being Arven. Arven leads off with a Great Tusk. I use Stoner to hit it with a Draining Kiss. I go for a second hit, and Great Tusk earthquakes Stoner off the team. So, I send out Pikachu. One play rough is all it took to finish it off. Arven's next Pokemon out is a Primal Form Dialga. I hit it with play rough and quickly swap out when it does almost nothing. Out comes Space Horse. I Dragon Breath Dialga 2 times. Next out is Tauros. Mewtwo hits it with the confusion, and it decides to take itself out with recoil damage.
Nice shot!
Meowth comes out next, and I use Zamazenta to take it down fast. Arven throws out a Typhlosion, and Space Horse hits it with a single Water Pulse, leaving a Greedent as his ace Pokemon. Lucky for me, I have no fighting type moves, so I send out Cresselia to take it on. I use Psycho Cut and it does almost nothing. So I use Moonlight to get some health back, and I go for an Aurora Beam. Yeah, this isn't working out. So I swap to Pikachu. We use Sync and put it to sleep. Then I go for Play Rough 3 times. That's Arven down. Not gonna lie, that was pretty rough. On my way to the school to take down the director and Penny, I come across a wild Rillaboom. So I add it to the backup team. Time to take on the director. Clavel leads off with the Flapple. One Aurora Beam later,
And it's gone.
out next is a Drifblim. So I send in Zamazenta and go for a bite, but it uses Explosion and takes itself out. Clavel sends out a Floatzel, so we swap in Toadcruel. I Seed Bomb it 2 times. That's all it took. Glimmet comes out, and yeah, Mewtwo takes it down super fast. Weavile's out next, and I introduce it to 2 Ancient Powers from Mewtwo, leaving only his ace Pokemon, a Charcadet. What? You guessed it. Space Horse destroys it with a single Water Pulse. That's the director down. Time to take on Penny. She leads off with a Cleavor. So I hit it with Psycho Cut a couple times to take it down. Skunk Tank is thrown out, and I send in Pikachu, but it uses Memento and takes itself out. Out comes Reveroom, and Toadcruel one-shots it with a single Earth Power.
And it's gone.
Penny throws out a Jolteon. Yeah, it doesn't stand a chance against Earth Power. Dragalge comes out, and Pikachu smacks it with a single Play Rough. Except, it was a Zoroark. So, out comes Dragalge, for real this time, as her ace Pokemon. It terrestrializes, and Pikachu destroys it with only 2 Play Roughs. Those battles went way better than the first one against Arven. So, I heal up my team and I set off for the final story arc against the Elite Four. Along the way, I find a super cool Lucario, just hanging out. If you have an awesome name for it, leave it for me in the comment section below. Last episode, I asked for a name for this super cool Lucario I found, and this was the recommendation. Rainbow. Okay. With that out of the way, let's head straight into the Elite Four. First up is Rika. And Rika leads off with a Scyther. After 2 Psychics from Mewtwo, it goes down. Out next is a Drifblim. Mewtwo hits it with Foul Play, but next turn it uses Explosion and takes itself out. Nice. Third out is a Sylveon. So I swap in Rainbow, the Lucario. Only 1 Meteor Mash later,
And it's gone.
a Drizzle is thrown out next, and Toadscroll introduces it to a single Seed Bomb,
Nice shot.
leaving a Love Disc as Rika's ace Pokemon. It terrestrializes before me, and I use Toadscroll to smack it with a single Seed Bomb. That's the first member of the Elite Four down. Up next is Poppy. Yeah, not quite sure if this qualifies as child labor, but let's go with it. Poppy leads off with a shiny Toxicroak, and Mewtwo one-shots it with a Psychic.
Outstanding.
Out next is a Houndstone, so I hit it with Foul Play. Then I switch out to Zamazenta to dodge the incoming Phantom Force, and we finish it off with a Crunch. Urshifu is up next, so Mewtwo one-shots it with Aura Sphere. Poppy throws out an Espathra. 2 Foul Plays later,
And it's gone.
leaving a Rillaboom as Poppy's ace Pokemon. So I toss in Rainbow and hit it with Bone Rush, but it does almost nothing. So I hit it with 2 Aura Spheres and finish it off. That's the second member of the Elite Four down. Up next is Larry. He leads off with a Crabominable. Yeah, Mewtwo one-shots it. Next out is Electrode. So I hit it with Ancient Power. Then swap out the Toadscroll. But it uses Explosion and takes itself out. Larry's next Pokemon is a shiny Frigibax. So I send in Rainbow and one-shot it with Aura Sphere. Sliggoo is tossed out next, and I send in our lovely Pikachu and smack it with a single play rough, leaving a Basculin as Larry's ace Pokemon. It terrestrializes and Toadscruel smacks it with a Giga Train, leaving only a little health left. But Basculin takes itself out with recoil damage. That's the third member of the Elite Four down, leaving only Hassel before I take on the champion. Hassel leads off with a Tinkaton. I smack it with Aura Sphere, but that does almost nothing. So I decide to switch out to Pikachu, and we hit it a handful of times before we finally take it down. Out next is a Fortress. I hit it a couple of times with Pikachu, but we're not getting anywhere fast, so I swap out the Space Horse. And it uses Explosion. Problem solved. Hassel throws out a Camerupt. Yeah, Space Horse hits it with a single Water Pulse. Samurott is thrown in, and Toadscruel hits it with 2 Seed Bombs, leaving a Shelter as his ace Pokemon. Yeah, you guys guessed it. Toadscruel destroys this thing with 2 Seed Bombs. That's the last member of the Elite Four down. Time to take on the champion. Geeta leads off with a Rangaroo. Mewtwo hits it with Foul Play, but gets smacked pretty hard. So I swap out to Pikachu. 2 play roughs later,
And it's gone.
out next is a Gulpin. And it gets one shot with Psychic Fang. Third out is Ursaluna. So I swap in Toadscruel, but it goes down to a Thrash. Oof. Out comes Rainbow, and yeah, Bone Rush does almost nothing to it. And I get one shot by a high horsepower. So I send in Space Horse, and I finish it off with a Water Pulse. Geeta throws out Hypno, and I use Space Horse to hit it with Dragon Breath a few times. Slacking comes out, and it goes down in just 3 Aura Spheres from Space Horse, leaving a Rillaboom as her ace Pokemon. So, I send out Zamazenta, who has been on the team since the very beginning. And after 2 close combats, Rillaboom is down. And the Elite Four is finished. And it's now time to go find Nimona to finish off Victory Road. We get a nice little cutscene of the town square. And Nimona leads off with a Scizor. Zamazenta goes in for the close combat 2 times and takes it out. Out next is a Numel. Space Horse hits it with a single Water Pulse. Nimona sends out a shiny Hydreigon. 1 play rough later,
And it's gone.
Barboach is thrown onto the field, and Rillaboom takes it down with a single drum beating.
Nice shot.
Up next is Bronzong. With only 3 knockoffs from Rillaboom, it goes down.
Outstanding.
leaving a Hypno as her ace Pokemon. So, I send in Mewtwo to finish her off for good. And with only 3 foul plays, Nimona is down. And that is Victory Road complete. I renamed Rillaboom to Monkey at the request of a commenter. And I even came up with a fun name for Mewtwo, Angry Eyes. Yeah, that just feels right. And with that taken care of, I set off for Area 0. The crew is all here, and I wildly mash A through the dialogue. Afterwards, we are treated with this nice little cutscene. It's time to take my first steps into Area 0. There are so many cool Pokemon I see as I'm making my way down. And I come across a wild Eternatus. And I have to catch one just for fun, even if we probably won't use it. We find the first station. And the Glamora tries to stop us, but we take it down fast. No worries. Then, I activated the station. Or deactivated, whichever one. And it's back to exploring. But I don't find anything too amazing that we haven't already caught before we get to the second research station. And me and Penny melt the wild Pikachu. Screamtail.
Outstanding.
Another button down. I really like how this area of the game feels unique, even if it runs a little bit more rough compared to the rest of the game. And the dialogue back and forth is a nice touch, even if I have no clue what they're saying. We come up on the third building, and surprise! It's a Great Tusk. Wow.
And it's gone.
Button successfully pushed. We finally enter the cave, and it's full of Hot Topic horses. Nice. Refreshing breakaway waterfall scene. And I secure the last station before we hit the bottom of the cavern. Fast forward and more riveting dialogue takes place before whoosh. The final button introduces us to the other Koraidon. And it makes ours look like a scaredy cat. Great. Then it runs off and turns around and evil stares at us. Nice. So we chase after it. No one gives us the stank eye and gets away with it. And behold, the inside of a disco ball. Sada lets us know she is a robot and wants to battle. And she pulls these cool little towers out of nowhere. Neat. She leads off the Skeledirge. Nope.
And it's gone.
Followed by Dragalge. Yeah, it's taken down immediately also. Cleavor is thrown out. Yeah, it gets 2-shot. Up next is Ursaring! And it meets Aura Spear. Sylveon's out next. Yeah, nope, never stood a chance. A ride form Koraidon? Nice! But Pikachu takes care of it in no time. The disco ball turns black. And the crew shows up. Sada starts terrestrializing, which I'm sure is fine. And we watch the towers go up again. And she throws out a Dragonite. I'm pretty sure she's cheating by not letting us use our other Pokemon, but that's okay. Because we get this nice little cutaway scene where our Koraidon finally grows a pair. Nice!
Oh! And his name is John C.
It's the final battle of the base game. Koraidon versus Dragonite. And it is a slog at first. All of our moves do almost nothing against Dragonite. So, I just keep hitting it. Until we are allowed to terrestrialize, then we finish it off in just a few turns of Terra Blast. With Dragonite down, Sada floats away into a portal. And we make the long walk home. And Arven gets over the whole mother thing super quick. Still, I'd say it's a pretty good ending. The credits start to roll, and that's the entire base game finished.
Look at this photograph.
This randomizer has been a lot of work, but it's been a ton of fun to see everyone's reaction to all the episodes. Thank you so much for hanging out with me through this entire journey. And as always, catch you next time.